and good morning once again. Welcome to the melting point on Memories 96.5 FM. It's 3 minutes gone past the hour 10 this morning, and we're about to talk about the country because that's what we do on the melting point. We dissect issues that have to do with the country. We evaluate our decisions, policies, and we prefer solutions that could possibly help the country. There's a lot going on in the country, Nigeria, right now, and what's more striking is the fact that a nationwide protest is, abound. It's coming up on the 1st of August, and possibly they said daily. So right now the government is trying to do their checks and balances to make sure that before the 1st of August there will be a form of, let's say, soccer, so that the youths are more relaxed and they don't take to the streets. So we're here to talk about some of the things that have been going on in the country that might provide that soccer to the youths. Once again, welcome to the melting point. My name is SHARON MANDOR, and I'm with the regular Wednesday melting point. I don't know what I was going to say morning, right? Wednesday melting point guest, an organization development consultant and a public affairs analyst. His name is Marvel Joseph. And good morning to you, Marvel.
Good morning, Sharon.
Welcome.
Yeah.
How are you doing this Wednesday?
I'm fine. I'm just happy that the protest is not taking place today. It's your birthday, so let me leave today free for you.
I think that would have been such an interesting activity to have put on my birthday. But yeah, it's 1st of August. Are you looking forward to it? Are you? What's your take before we go into the
protest
discussion? Yeah, the protest.
The protest, my opinion would be like it's very, very unnecessary. Yeah, we should concentrate and deal with the issues at hand. Let's keep discussing, and we can't force things in this country. We need to know that something brought us to this level and we can deal with it. And there is nothing that doesn't have a solution. And we should know that even if we do go on a protest, we'll still come back to the round table to discuss and agree on things to be. We have institutions in place, we have people in government, we have people in the legislatures. Let them take the right steps that they should take. So far, we are bearing the pains of the economy as it's standing today, and it's so sad that we are going through these pains. But we should deal with it systematically. We shouldn't think of disrupting the system because when two elephants fight, it's the grass that will still suffer. Okay,
but when you say that we should let the people in the various institutions to do their job, so far, does it look like they have been towing the right path for people to have confidence that in the near future they are going to do their jobs?
We cannot completely say they are doing their job, and we cannot completely say well, they're not doing their job. And when you look at it, one of the institutions that should act very well is the legislature. So how are they performing? When you want to look at them, how they are performing, you would like to also look at the selection or election process that took them there. And if we want to do things right, then we need to take our civil responsibilities more seriously. If we do so, then we'll be able to influence things and have the right people in place to represent us. And once we have the right people in place to represent us, things will begin to work better. When you look at the institution of like the CBN, for example, they are trying to mop up issues that are on ground. One cannot really judge them because when you understand what is going on, you see they also have their constraints regarding what they are to do in terms of the way the economy is standing presently. If you look at the judiciary, they need re-engineering. You look at the police, they need re-engineering. You look at is it INEC? They need re-engineering. So these are things that we should focus on. How do we get these people to re-engineer themselves? How do we get them to do the right things? I don't think it is by protest. I think it's by discussion. I think it's by being conscious, educating ourselves.
But what happened to you had the discussion that you're talking about? What's really stopping the re-engineering of these institutions, especially the INEC? Because the burden of, you know, who leads us and all of that, it lies a lot solely in the hands of INEC.
It's all about the leadership. When the government is serious about turning things around, you know, Sharon, just think of the fact that we are still doing manual voting when we have the option of electronic voting. So if we are to implement it, you see, the executive would have to be serious about it. And if we say, like the experience we had last time in the National Assembly, a whole document passed through, and even some of the senators could not go for their primaries. They shot themselves in the leg as well. So we look at these issues. Who are those representing us? What are they doing there? What should it be? What is it? What is going on now? And what should it be? We also need to look at the consciousness of citizens. We also need to see the young people participating in the electioneering process. You know, we are not still satisfied about the number of people that come out to vote or participate in party activities. Now it's time for primaries, for example. How many people are going to participate in these primaries? You hear consensus candidates here and there. At the end of the day, it will be a few people just selecting whoever they want, and the process continues like that. But people have to develop a consciousness of demanding to see the manifestos of those that they want to represent them, so that they can be holding them accountable for what they have promised. If we go on that path, then the reforms will begin to come.
All right. You mentioned CBN as one of the institutions that, you know, is also doing their bit to make sure that we're a better country. And just after the MPC meeting, it was revealed that CBN has hiked the interest rate again to 26.75%. I know that we have discussed some of the moves that CBN needs to make sure that we're at the point where we should be. But further increasing the interest rate to 26.75%. What's your take on this?
We're looking forward to what the MPC meeting, that's the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, what will be the outcome of their meeting. I was very concerned about it because, for one, the CBN governor was seemingly optimistic that the economy is improving, and one would have thought that with that optimism that the NPC meeting would come up with something better than what we have found. But on the other hand, it also tells us, because when you see how the Naira is struggling still in the market, then you know that we have not recorded considerable improvement in our economy. And if we have not done so, then there's no way they would be able to take their eyes off the inflation rate. As the inflation is rising, it's one element that may destroy the whole economy. So they are battling how to stop the bleeding, and see how the economy can get into shape. And that takes us to the situation we are having at hand, discussing productivity in the country. And here we have a refinery that has been privatized, and we are going to lose so much with their discussion about whether they should give crude, whether they should not give crude, and all the stories surrounding the discussion around there. It's a deep concern because the economy is not doing any better, and yet we find ourselves in this place. So when we look at what the CBN is doing and how it's going to affect especially manufacturing, then it raises serious concern about how it's going to affect unemployment, the employment rate, how it's going to affect the purchasing power of individuals, because you know, that high interest rate, the cost of finance is very, very important in one running any business. And when the cost of finance is that high, you cannot expect productivity to go high. And when we find ourselves in this kind of situation, the country is not time for people to go on the street and disrupt business operation. We should think of utilizing every hour of work that we have to see how better we can do productively. We should think of what we should add to the economy, not going on a protest at this time.
All right. So you are with the president when the president said that, the youth should be patient with him, give him a little more time for him to, finish up what they've already planned to do.
I agree with the president completely. I support that the people should be patient with this president. People should be patient with government generally. Sharon, sometimes the impatient citizens show towards governance. It's somehow because if you don't understand the intricacies where we are coming from and how things are presently, you may be expressing. Last week we heard a lot about the decision of the Akwa Ibom state government, for example, acquiring a property in Lagos, and the criticism is so high, and you just be wondering, those criticizing, do they really understand these things about investment? Do they really think about the future of Akwa Ibom state? Do they really think about it in terms of an objective evaluation of that decision of government? It's not as if Akwa Ibom state government went to buy that property. That property has been lying down, what Greek people will call fallow. The property has been lying down there fallow, and that area is very, very fatal for landed property, for what do you call it, real estate, the real estate business. So if Akwa Ibom state government can maximize the use of that place, it comes to the benefit of the people to see that we are able to raise income. The income raised from there, for example, this idea of the Akwa Ibom state government placing one project per local government over time, that can finance part of those projects, putting healthcare services in place, putting education model schools as they are is going around the local government. It can add a lot of value. There's a lot of value to be tapped from there. Lagos State is not just a state; it's the commercial nerve center of Nigeria. A lot of activities going on there. So if we have a property in Lagos State, instead of selling off the property, utilize it and let it make money for Akwa Ibom State. I know people may be sentimental because of the high-rise building off Udodoma that was there, and they said it's not being productive. Of course, the intention of government at that time and putting that building here is very different from what His Excellency Pastor Mona is doing about the Lagos project. That is a place that will be generating a lot of revenue for Akwa Ibom State. People should sometimes, all the time, appreciate efforts of government to see how they can improve on revenue, being futuristic, not just depending on oil revenue. When they collect from federal government, they share. Things may change in the near future, and if these things change, state governments would have to generate their own revenue to pay salary, to engage in development activities, whether it has to do with agriculture, whether it has to do with healthcare, whether it has to do with education. That the government should be positioned and be futuristic and plan and be systematic in their actions and decisions. I support the state government's decision to utilize that property very effectively, because even people from other nations are utilizing that space at Victoria Island, coming to buy space and develop properties, real estate in that place, and are making real good money around that place. That place is a choice area that will bring us so much money. If we sell it, we would have been selling our wealth away. When we did not develop that place, we were losing a lot in terms of the revenue that would have been coming to the state. So if people understand what investment is all about and the benefits this investment is bound to yield for a state, then they should be encouraging governments to think in that direction. I applaud the state government for thinking in that direction on bringing revenue, bringing things to generate revenue for the state. And once that is done, it will also offer employment opportunity for even people in Akwa, because it is not people from other states that will be running that real estate business in Lagos. There's still people from Akwa Ibom State that will be overseeing that place and bringing in revenue to the state, and also gaining employment and exposure of how to run such businesses internationally, starting from Lagos State.
All right, let's go to the major discussion now, Marvel. This drama, I want to call it drama, between Dangote, NMDPRA, now Enquiry, Okay, first of all, let me start with the fact that, since Dangote started his refinery, there has been a lot of bottlenecks, there has been a lot of barriers that he had to surpass. He had complained. Dangote has not. I don't think Dangote has been in the news as much as this period. He has, for someone that people said, okay, he's a quiet person. He has been out in the news lately, and he has been complaining about the kind of bottlenecks that he has been facing since he started off the refinery. To the fact that the IOCs were trying to, there were different allegations, and we've discussed all of that. But recently, the NMDPRA, I think is the MD or GM, or I'm going to try to remember the position.
It's the CEO.
CEO of NMDPRA came out to say that local refineries, including Dangote Refinery, has been producing crude with high sulfur content, which is inferior to what we are importing. Now, there was a lot of backlash that followed that because, analysts said you can't say that about Nigerian products and all of that. You expect people to buy Nigerian products, but you still want us to, you're still talking about Nigerian products like this. They stood on their grounds and they said they've sent engineers, and these engineers are saying that yes, they have high sulfur content and all of that. Dangote came out to refute the claims, talking about how he has been exporting what they say is inferior. Other nations are buying from Dangote Refinery, so why is it just Nigeria that's complaining about this thing? He has also complained about the fact that it seems like there are certain forces that are not in support of the fact that he wants to put an end to importation of crude once and for all. This fuel crisis has been an issue, petroleum crisis has been an issue for the longest time. He finally wants to put an end to it, according to him, and it seems like there are certain people that are not in support. They still want to be benefiting from the importation of crude, and then also laid allegations on Enquiry, saying that there's some backdoor operations being done in Malta. What do you make of all of this? What sense can you make out of all of this drama?
Sharon, you described it well when you called it drama. It's really a drama because you see, last week we observed, or we read in the papers that the House of Reps, they have gone to visit Dangote Refinery. And
sorry, you mentioned House of Reps and I forgot to even put that.
Okay.
Today we saw in the papers that reps have moved for the federal government, asking the federal government to remove the CEO of NMDPRA.
That's an outcome of that visit to the refinery.
All right.
And they talked about testing the products to ascertain whether it is truly inferior or not, without really talking about the technical part of it, because we understand what is going on. If you cast our minds back a bit, we discussed something about when NNPC said they want to declare, or they are declaring a state of emergency in the oil sector, and we found out that the Independent Petroleum Producers Group were the ones that actually pushed them to react in the way that they did. And in what way did they push them? They were just making suggestions to them on better ways to increase our oil production capacity. So instead of addressing that, they went ahead to expose themselves and the corruption that they are known for. Now it has become so apparent that all the oil and gas sector is corrupt in Nigeria, and I would like to also believe Dangote that says it is a mafia. He's at war, and he's feeling that Dangote is at war, and the sad thing is that he feels so frustrated about it. He sounds defeated. When he says, "Come, buy me out. I don't want to go on again." So that's a defeatist approach. I'm also certain for him to sound that way, then he's not having the support of the federal government. So if he's not having the support of the federal government, he's not having the support of the Minister for Petroleum. Who is the Minister for Petroleum?
The President.
The President. So that's abnormal, But you see, we have normalized a lot of things in Nigeria, and we begin to see this abnormal as normal. It is the silence from the presidency is an indictment on the presidency regarding this issue of Dangote's refinery. Let's take our minds back to during Obasanjo's time. At that time, they wanted to sell Port Harcourt refinery. They wanted to privatize, if you like, Port Harcourt refinery. And they agreed to do so, and they put it up for sales in the year 2002. Nobody came out to buy Port Harcourt refinery. The thing lingered till 2007, towards the tail end of Obasanjo's regime. Then Dangote came out and brought out money to invest in the place and got the controlling share of Port Harcourt refinery. He paid the controlling share for Port Harcourt refinery and moved on to Kaduna refinery. That was because governments were encouraged to do so because they knew how the telecommunication industry was before the privatization, and they saw the improvement that was recorded after the privatization of the telecommunication industry. In fact, when Jonathan's regime came and privatized, is it Jonathan? Yeah, I think it's Jonathan, and privatized the power sector as well. A lot of people, a lot of nations saw it as a reference point that this can be done so smoothly. Now, when Obasanjo left power, the fight began. Why did they sell to Dangote? The union, the management of the refineries, all of them rose to fight to ensure that the thing is cancelled or taken back, and it was. Yaradua reversed it. Now, if the refineries were privatized at that time, you imagine the gain that we would have recorded if the refineries were privatized at that time. A few years later, within 5 years later, the record showed that Nigeria spent 122 billion for turnaround maintenance of refineries. I'm talking about 2011. At 2011, you spent 122 billion naira. Now, during the time until date, these refineries have not refined or produced or have not been productive in any way. Yet 122 billion is gone. Now, imagine what this money would have done to our economy. Imagine the health sector, how it would have been. In fact, let's put it this way. You can use 1.2 billion in the present day economy, in the present day devalued naira, to build a general hospital, a hospital, whether you are able to get all the facilities. But of course, let's even put it at 1.5 billion. How many local governments do we have in Nigeria? So this would have given support to maybe all the local governments would have had a standard hospital facility. All the local government would have had a standard school. Put this money in the education sector, put it in investments, put it in other areas. The economy of Nigeria would have been the better for it. And yet the nation has spent all this. Why? Because these refineries are being controlled, owned exclusively by government. Now, privatize this refinery, you refuse. Sell it to private hands, you refuse. Dangote has struggled all through and has invested to start his own. He has started. He's built it to a level of production. He's producing, he started production, and you are frustrating him with crude oil supply. Now, it would be understandable if Nigeria do not have crude oil to give to Dangote immediately because of the circumstances of the dependency on crude oil. Like federal government budgets 1.7 per day, and they are not able to meet it in terms of the barrels produced in a day. So you would say our budget is depending on this, so let us sell and get forex to be able to support our. So you may put that on the one side, that okay, Government doesn't have oil to give to these people, but the Independent Petroleum Producers Group made suggestions to NNPC to say we have idea on how to increase our production. Dangote appealed, give us an oil well that we can be taking from to do our production. So if you don't have the capacity to produce and sell to Dangote, you could make him own an oil well and draw crude oil to use for his refinery and manage it the way he wants. And this thing can be metered, so you can still be. He would have to pay for the crude oil, but he should be paying in naira, as even them had agreed. He should be paying in naira, and he should be paying at a reduced rate, because you don't have to ship it abroad to sell. And of course, we should also have advantage, for what we are producing. We have advantage, but we have oil. We should benefit from the oil that we have. So if you sell it at a reduced price to Dangote, this is a refinery that has a capacity to produce 650,000 barrels per day. Now that can fit our domestic needs, and the leftover can be exported. It still brings revenue to the country. So how do you think about it that federal government is not supporting Dangote with their chest? Because this would benefit the economy. Dangote's would raise government revenue. Dangote refinery will conserve our foreign exchange. So instead of keeping importing, you would have to, just have your naira become stronger. It would decrease our vulnerability to. People complain about the quality of fuel, petrol that they buy these days. I don't know other cities, but I hear that complaint, and I feel the quality of petrol, of PMS that we have, would have been better if we produce it in Nigeria, and we are able to put all things in place to see how we can regulate and have a very good quality of petrol. It would give us employment, and it would also reduce corruption in the petroleum sector. I'm saying this in the light of what used to happen in the power sector. I'm also saying this of what used to happen in the telecommunication sector. It's not as if these things are completely eliminated, but it has reduced in those other sectors. In fact, in telecommunication sectors, the private people that are handling it all together. Power sector has not really come to that stand yet, but of course it's in the process. So you could see government may be generating far more revenue from the power sector than what they used to generate when they were controlling the sector. So if Dangote's refinery, which is a private sector driven, is in operation, these are the advantages that would have come to Nigeria. And if these are the economic advantages that would have come to Nigeria, given this multiplier effect in all aspects of the economy, then why wouldn't us support Dangote's refinery? The concern here is also, why is the president silent at a time like this? Why is the presidency not saying anything? And for Dangote to sound so frustrated, it means that the president is not on his side. Why would the president not even be on his side? Dangote was planning to invest in a steel plant. He has said, he's no more going to do business there. Now he's thinking about taking his businesses out of Nigeria. Now the international people are going out of Nigeria. Local people are also going out of Nigeria, leaving Nigeria's businesses. So if he makes good his threat to pull out of the refinery, like he said, buy me out, those people are ready to buy that refinery. If they buy, they will kill it like Port Harcourt refinery. They will kill it like Kaduna. And
so are you saying that what I'm getting from you is that you're also thinking that this is an intentional sabotage?
It is an intentional sabotage. You cannot be having such a disparaging remarks from a regulator of the petroleum sector, that this petroleum sector is key in Nigeria's operation. Then you are the CEO of Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Authority, and you come out to say that the goods that we produce in Nigeria is inferior. Okay, but if it was even correct, it would be okay, but the test shows otherwise. that the product is not inferior.
Okay, but Marvel, one of their arguments is that they can't leave the responsibility of importing crude in the hands of one person for the entire country. Does this look like what Dangote is requesting for right now?
Dangote is a businessman. He is not saying that come let me be imported. He has a refinery. So when we talk about importation, we are talking about the people, the importers, the marketers that are should be importing. Then NNPC monopolize it to do the importation by themselves. You and I know that there is no independent marketer that is importing fuel in this country. It is done by one person. That is NNPC. It's done by government, one person. So that is where the controversy of subsidy issues and all that is revolving around. So if Dangote is criticizing their continuous importation of fuel, he is right to do so. People are also saying this imported fuel is of inferior standard. Now they are criticizing this on the one hand. Dangote feels his business will die if you keep allowing importation, because you import cheap fuel and sell it at a price that he cannot match, because you see, manufacturing is very costly, especially at the beginning. The capital that is required, the tough manufacturing environment in Nigeria, the money required to run this thing is high. So if you give Dangote a room to produce and sell in Nigeria, he may start selling at a higher rate. But as time goes on, a lot of costs would have been taken out of it, and Dangote will begin to sell at a very low rate. Then the price of fuel would have dropped in Nigeria.
Yeah. So
if Dangote's initiative could drop the price of fuel, then you should be supporting him instead of looking at him that he's seeking monopoly. Of course, that's why I made that analogy of what happened between 2002 and 2007. Port Harcourt refinery was up for sale. Nobody came out to buy until Dangote came to buy it. So, and Dangote buying it does not stop you from also building your own refinery. It doesn't stop the government from the turnaround maintenance being completed. It doesn't stop government from every other activities to complement what Dangote is doing. So rather than complementing Dangote, and you will see the pattern that is going, that all the modular refineries, we have over 25 of them now, all of them are in support of Dangote and all what Dangote is saying, talking about the mafia in government, talking about the international mafia, because this is to say that they are frustrating this man to continue to import petrol, to continue to import petroleum products. Now, what is the gain in control when they have this control? It reminds us about the power sector issue, where government will spend a lot of money to improve power in the country, and yet we will not have a headway on improvement of power. In this situation, why should we depend on importation so much so that there is a solution now, there is a headway now, there is a way for us to go? Then government refuse to see the reason why they should support Dangote to do well in that refinery. If they were to support Dangote to do well, they would be able to reduce prices. There's people, if you think through it, you will see that the subsidy is still on. They will say landing cost of fuel, landing cost of petroleum products in Nigeria is also amount, and we are buying at also amount. So it is so obvious that where are you taking the difference to pay for? People may come up with a lot of arguments about that.
Yeah.
But the truth is, this is an international market operation. So if we are to buy at the international rate, then we should be able, the cost of crude oil in the international market should reflect in the cost of petrol that we are buying in Nigeria. But that is not so. That's another story completely. The deeper concern is that there is a solution here. Why don't we tap into that solution and hold on to that solution?
What really is the solution? Because Marvel, this seems to be like a distraction. We haven't even gotten to OPEC quota. we're not even having that conversation, and then it seems like a business is trying to come up and save Nigeria. That's what it looks like to Nigerians. And then there are forces, according to your analogy, trying to stop the redemption of Nigeria. What really is the solution at this point?
The initiative by Dangote was and is the solution to availability of petroleum products in Nigeria.
So where do we now keep our heads now that these forces seem to be overtaking the whole situation? Because for Dangote, I was saying it the other day on today's papers, that even from his speech you could see the emotions on his face, that he's frustrated, he's tired of fighting these battles. So now that it seems like it's overwhelming, where do we keep our heads?
That is why Nigerians should begin to ask questions. Why is the presidency silent? The Nigeria depends on oil. Like I said, if you look at it, that the production capacity, we cannot produce enough crude oil to export for the national revenue, then you cannot also say that you cannot allow Dangote space in an oil field. We have a lot of oil reserve in the country. That's crude oil reserve in the country. Dangote's refinery, like he said, would have served as the refined reserve, that is PMS, diesel and all that. That it would have been like a reserve, because when he produces, he keeps it to export. If we have a need in Nigeria, we'll tap from there to use. All other refineries are yet to work. When we are following the news about Port Harcourt refinery, it's like somebody saying, I have roofed my house, I'm ready to move in. And yet they were not even done with that. Why are they not done with the turnaround maintenance of Port Harcourt refinery, for example? It is simply because the money channel for that purpose may not, I'm not sure, may not be used for that purpose. Otherwise, why is it delayed till today? You keep promising tomorrow will be done, next tomorrow will be done, and yet till today we are not done. So when you look at these practices, you see the Oga Pata Pata, the NNPC themselves, and their activities, and like we analyzed the other day, that they even own up to corruption by their body language and speeches that they make at occasions, talking about the Enquiry, talking about adding cost to cost, that they will stop adding cost to cost, and other things that he said in related way, to say that things are not running the way it should be running, that is normal as it should be running, that they have a way of cutting corners at NNPC. Now you take it to this aspect of people gaining from importation of fuel and holding on to that and not wanting, it's a two-way thing. The international oil sellers, they also have interest in Nigeria paying dollars to them to buy. The local people that are selling to them, that is people around NNPCL, they are also interested in the money that they are making from each time they make imports, that they are importing, they are making money from. So government appears to have put their cronies in place and cannot back at them, or cannot touch them, and cannot do anything to them. So if it is so, the president should be held responsible for the mess of this petroleum sector, because if the president rises up and is firm about it, he should give an order, an executive order, for Dangote to have supply of crude oil. Dangote has provided the facility. Now we have the raw material, so why not allow the raw material to go to him? It's not as if we don't have oil, we have crude oil. So if you want to give them they are also ready. They talked about engaging people like Orlando and other independent oil producers to have access to oil field and take crude oil. If they are able to take crude oil, they can supply Dangote. Dangote is also willing to run an oil well. So why not make it easy for him? Knowing that if you make it easy for him, you are making it easy for Nigerians. In this kind of situation, you will now begin to wonder the direction of government when it comes to the economy as it stands today. We talked about the high interest rate that CBN has come. CBN is battling with dealing with this inflation rate, and we have an avenue for production, which is this oil production. So even if you cannot engage in other forms of production, talking about agriculture or other forms of manufacturing or mining or anything that you want to, this oil is at hand. So why don't we do everything to support the private refinery to do well, knowing that if they do well, that they will provide employment for the people, that all the linkages will be tied in, and we will do better, and we would have been able to come out of this economic problem faster. But here we are, seemingly dramatizing issues, and now the House of Reps, they are talking about removing Ahmed Farouk, that is the CEO of Nigeria Midstream, Downstream and Petroleum Authority, for the careless utterance that he made, unsubstantiated utterance. So you cannot say it was a mistake. It was deliberate. Because
they backed up the claim. They said they had sent engineers to the refinery and they checked it out, and yeah, it had more sulfur content, so you cannot call it a mistake. But then
no, the sulfur content, that's why we will not go technically. You see, they are producing, there's a level to it. These are our own, these are local thing.
Yeah.
So what is the sulfur content? It will be damaging to health, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, now they are working on reducing it, and they have reduced it to a certain level, and that level is an acceptable level. So it is not something that could have raised an alarm. When they went to do the test was not as negative as Farouk said, as Farouk mentioned. So why would you join to undertake a campaign of calumny against your own, against your domestic production? Why would you?
So this really seems intentional. But let's open the phone lines. Let's hear what the listener has to say. Alright, so if you're just joining us, this is the melting point on Memories on 6.5 FM. We've been talking about the drama between the federal government and the Dangote refinery. If you'd like to join in the discussion, then the phone lines are now open for you to call in. The phone numbers are 0803 085 7755 or 0809 066 6909. We're streaming live on Facebook and the handle is Memories 965 FM. Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Udo. Welcome, Udo.
My people, I want to say that all these problems boils down to those we call our representatives. Those people that are leading us from our own domain, like the House of Members, House of Assembly, the governors, and whatsoever they may call themselves. They are those that are our problems. Because when things happen like this, when you try to check this effect, you see that most of them are stakeholders there in the Dangote's company. What they do is for them to look for their own stomach. If they have any share in Dangote's company, that share is just for their own house, not for the people they live. And when things happen like this, they are the people who call themselves leaders. From all the looks and credit, there are those that are supposed to go in there and look at this and say, what is happening? Because they leave people in their various territory to go to their offices. And they're supposed to know that these people are waiting for them to get something from them as they send them to go and represent us. But they will be keeping quiet. Things will be going on like this. This kind of thing can be solved by so-called political leaders. They are those that are supposed to go there and say, what is happening? They start down these things.
All right, we'll do
and
wrap up.
things will continue. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Let's take another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning. Welcome to the program.
My name is William I'm calling you from here.
Welcome, Wemedimo.
Yeah, I'm very glad to listen to that Monday station. I want to thank you very much for being very frank and very straight.
Thank you.
Doing business in Nigeria is doing business with devils. Sorry to use that word. But let's narrow it down to even Akwa Ibom State here. I'm a transporter. double taxation everywhere. People who constitute themselves into tax force, you cannot move from Uyo to Lagos without your vehicle being interrupted by tax force out, all sort of criminals coming on the road in the name of collecting tax for government, embarrassing people, stopping the journey and all of that. And the most painful aspect of all these things is that this money is collected and not even sent to the government coffers. So doing business in Nigeria is becoming so hectic for those of us who want to stay back and see how we can do business, and we are employers of labor. We are finding it very difficult. Government policies, government tax force, government this, double taxation, nothing is regulated in a normal way. It's so disturbing, it's so painful, it's so depressing. In fact, we are choked. In places like China, business people are supported. Immediately you are an employer of labor, government will come in to help because they know you are reducing the crime, you are reducing everything. But here,
Alright, wrap up. One minute more.
No, it's painful. It's like I feel like crying.
Oh, so sorry about that. Thank you very much. Let's take another call. Alright, we lost that call, but we have another one.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, your friend.
Good morning and welcome to the program. What's your name or where you calling us from?
My name is Jimmy. I'm calling
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning to the guests in the studio.
Good morning. Good morning.
I am listening to your analysis. You just talked about this Dangote refinery. To me, I think that we should not talk much about this thing because we can remember what was the rovers of the first subsidy. It was because of that the few people, the few Shabbat were benefiting from the first subsidy. That was the reason why they removed the first subsidy. And we should not, I don't know if we continue to wait to hear the prophet. To know that these people that just come out down to condemn the Dangote refinery were the people that benefited from that first subsidy. Now, someone cannot tell me that Dangote itself is not well educated enough to know that this product that is going to be used now to produce this point is quite something standard. You see, and someone just come out to say that this is that you are using is inferior. This is quite unfortunate. So people should insist on wickedness.
All right.
Now, which one are they producing? Which one are they making it available? They now condemn the refinery, the Dangote. Which one are they providing now?
Valid point.
And you get the plight of the people in the country. Everybody, and I'm looking for something.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from Apostle Tuko. Good morning to you once again, Apostle.
Hello, good morning, everybody in the studio.
Welcome back.
This is Apostle Kinsey John Prince, normally called Apostle Tuko, right from Atlanta. I'm glad to join you.
Welcome.
Please, about the issue, I will start from where they started. That because my brother has spoken a lot, he's spoken well, these people are doing a great job at then you come in, please. About the issue of I was still building 19,000 at
18.
Lagos. Okay. I believe maybe there is not enough land in the Bible. Therefore, the Lagos is a commercial center. Who made it to become a commercial center? It's not human beings, it's not people from our time, governors and foreign people who were past their present. We have a land to build it here. Will it not fall here in a Bible state? Former one is 17 and 21 years. It is here and it is honor and it brings development, it brings beauty. And people take it there, people say they acquire with indigenous will employ. They will employ them, they will live stay here and go and live at Lagos with all those things there. All those blind Lagos there, people have been living before and they depart and come back home. It will not be easy, but it is their own opinion because whatever they put the opinion, they stand by their own opinion. There's what we can do. Just the people call.
Apostle, wrap up. Wrap up.
Everybody ignore it. It is government plan. They can take it out ahead. But supposed to be here in you on to 18 and you have a land here and employ my institute here, not to employ people from where to go and work here. It will not be easy for us to stop chatting or with other things. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Apostle. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome to the program.
Yeah, this I'm fine there.
Welcome, Prince.
Okay, yeah, good morning to your guests.
Good morning, sir.
They have spoken very well in that dimension. I wonder what caused Pharaoh Cafe to set make such a comment. So that such a comment would have come to his own quarter. In production, there are systematic methods carried on before a product can be consumed, and there are standards being laid down, in which I believe that is also aware of all those standards. I get me another refinery that is operating here in Nigeria. If we need to they need to investigate the Pharaoh Cafe, why he makes such a comment. They have this.
Ooh, we lost that call. Let's take another one. Oh, we lost it too, but we can take one more. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning to you, Akman.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I want to say that all these anomalies do not have arisen in the first place. Don't forget, marketers and solar that even if fuel is refined in Nigeria, the difference will be 70 kobo per liter. And secondly, we are talking about that hotel. We have forgotten that every second the central bank devalues the naira. Today 1.5, tomorrow 1,550, so on. And it is sold at the exchange rate at the international market. So it may not be easy. If I win that hotel, I will go and buy for a 1 back here and refine it. Already they have said it is an inferior product. You have had problem. So that those who want to buy this inferior product can buy.
All right.
And those who don't want to buy will live to solve
Okay.
problem.
Thank you.
We are tired of this issue. And let me tell you, the man who appointed Pharaoh is the president. They can only recommend something to that.
Okay, thank you very much, Akman.
Thank you.
Okay, let's take our last call from Kevin. Good morning to you, Kevin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go on.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning.
Calling from Shelter.
Welcome.
Concerning the Dangote finance stuff, I think it's high time Dangote himself begin to mention names of those perpetrators in his refinery. And two, I want to know what it takes for a state like Akwa Ibom State to have a single refinery. Because I don't know what are the challenges and the question is what are the challenges and what are the efforts so far, because when it comes to this Dangote refinery, I think the state should also have a refinery state like Akwa Ibom State. So the Dangote should also mention the names of those perpetrators.
All right. Thank you very much, Kevin. Marvel,
Yeah.
we have like 2 minutes left. I don't know how you're going to respond to all of those reactions in 2 minutes, but the floor is yours.
It's all simple and straightforward because most people seem to understand that Dangote needs to be supported, and just the appeal that government should support Dangote. And for the Akwa Ibom State government, when we talk about return on investment, it is a very excellent investment that they are embarking on in Lagos State.
All right, thank you very much. That was quite short and simple. Thank you very much, Marvel, Joseph Hussein, for your time here once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah. All right, we've come to the end of the melting point on Memories 96.5 FM. Thank you so much for joining us
Then we
today.
go for the birthday party.
Who is partying in this Nigeria? Who is partying? I've forgotten that today is a birthday.
Oh, you do?
Thank you very much, Bravo. All right, so join us because in 3 minutes we'll have MC Asa coming for the Bibi Belt to be taking over, and then I'll be back again for the midday news. Thank you once again for all the birthday wishes. My name is Sharon Mandor. Thank you for listening.